don't marry him. Okay, everybody got quiet. Well, I'm going to talk to the people online. If you're not going to be submissive, now this ain't part of my notes or nothing, but I'm just saying, if you're not going to be submissive, don't marry the man, because it's going to be very difficult, especially if you marry a strong man. It's going to be very difficult for him to try to be the man, and then you trying to be the man. Now, I don't know why I'm going this direction. Listen, and see, if you've been single a long time, and I look at my daughter, she's been single a long time, it's going to be hard for her to bring a man. She got her own house, got her own car, got her own bills, pay. She's very independent. Now, what he going to give her? You driving a Suburban, you got your own 4-bedroom house. Well, what are you going to give her? But some trouble. She have to be at a place, let me help somebody. You have to be at a place, after you've been so independent for a long period of time, you got to be so humble to have somebody come in your house and rule you in your house. Or you got to get out your house and go in his house so y'all will have a house together. Then because you don't want the man in your house, and every time he turn around, you keep talking about, this is my house. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why I put that. I don't know where that comes from. But women and men of God, if the church is going to be in order, the house got to be in order. You can't have a church in order if the house is out of order. Because now what happened, the man got to come in and fake it. And then now she in love with everybody in the church but her husband. Whew. I should have waited for this for the conference. I'm sorry. Let me just, I got to give y'all this scripture. I was talking about loose by prayer. Loose by prayer. And that's in Acts 16:22. And I don't know if the Lord going to lead me back to where I see where we're going, but I'm going to try to hold fast to this text. I ministered on this text a couple of days ago, and I thought it not robbery to bring it to the house, because I felt that it was necessary. And I'm not going to hold you long, and I want to kind of break it down so the young people will be able to understand where I'm going with Christianity. Loose by prayer. Now in Acts 16:22, the Bible says, the multitude arose against them, and the magistrates rent off their clothes and commanded to beat them. Somebody say, beat them. Beat them. Okay. And when they had laid many stripes upon them, they cast them into prison, charging the jailer to keep them safely. Whom, talking about the jailer, whom received such charge, thrust them into the inner prison. Say, inner prison. Charging, all right, in the inner prison, and made their feet fast to the stocks. 25. And at midnight, that's a powerful word right there. At midnight, Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises unto God, and the prisoners, wait a minute, not Paul and Silas, oh, y'all missed it. The Bible says, and the prisoners heard them. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundation of the prison was shaken, and immediately all the doors were open. And everyone's bands were loose. Now I can sit here and I can really expound on this text, but I want to talk about loose by prayer. And some things that I added this morning. One of the things I added this morning, I don't know who this is for, but the Lord told me, say, you can be around something so long where you become it. Good God. Oh, that's like a chameleon, you know, that lizard, he gets on some brown, he turns brown. He sits on it long enough, he becomes transparent, or he camouflages himself to his surroundings. What people think. That was something over there. That was something for somebody over there, and I wrote that down. What people think about you is none of your business. That wasn't for you. That was for somebody else. Tell your neighbor, what people think about you is none of your business. You spend more time trying to figure out what they're thinking about you, and I can discern she don't like me. How you know that? The fact is you don't like her. That's why you discerning she don't like you. But look, what they feel about you is none of your business. God told you to love everybody. Prayer. In Luke 18:1, he said, a man ought to pray always. He ought always to pray and not faint. Matthew 21:22 say, in all things, whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer. Now listen to what he say. Whatever you ask in prayer, believe ye shall what? Receive it. We find Peter and John going into the temple in Acts 3:1. We find them going into the temple 3:1. And they went into the house. They went to the house, which was the 9th hour, to pray into the temple. Why would the apostles leave their home and go to the temple, the church, to pray? The facts are, most commentaries talk about how Peter and John healed the man at the gate of Beautiful, and that was one of the greatest miracles, one of the first miracles that ever happened after the day of Pentecost. But the true facts is that they was headed to a prayer meeting. When you activate prayer, before they prayed, somebody got healed. All right. If they send me a credit card in the mail, right? And any of y'all got decent credit? See, when you got decent credit, they just send you credit cards. But it'll say it's only good if you activate it. See, most of us don't realize God has given us the authority. We just got to activate it with prayer. So you're walking around with power in your hand, but the reason why it's not working because you ain't activated it. We find in Exodus, I'm about to finish, Exodus 3:7, that the Lord said unto Moses, I have surely seen the affliction. Now these words, affliction of my people, are very important to where I'm headed. I surely seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrow. Now, listen to what he said. If y'all young people may not understand this story, I'm going to break it down to you. The children of Israel is in bondage for 400 years. All of a sudden, God now hear them. So what was happening the other 398 years? Well, y'all gonna get it in a minute. The Lord said to Moses, I have heard, surely seen their affliction. I seen it. It took him 400 years to see it. I have heard In other words, it took him 400 years to hear what they had to say. There is a reason why God allow us to go what we go through. Why would God allow them for 400 years? What? The first 2 years, God should have just brought them out. They God's people, right? But after 400 years, he now decides, I am now. But what was different? Listen to what he said in the text. The Lord said, I seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt. Now listen to what he said. And have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters. See, God allowed trouble to come in your life to where that taskmaster gets so bad. See, at first, it might have been smooth. It might have been, okay, they slave, but we okay. But when times got hard, when times got rough, and those Egyptians start killing some of those Hebrew boys, then they start saying, Lord, you need to do something here. Have anybody, when the money was good, you were just saying, yeah, I come to church and the Lord lay me down to sleep. But when trouble came, when a taskmaster got on your back, when the bills were due and you couldn't see your way out, it seemed like our prayer life changes. When I was building this church, I was speaking in tongues every Sunday. Because when the tough get going and the rough get going and the tough get going, y'all know what I'm talking about, that it changes your prayer life. My God, have anybody ever got drunk and prayed? I ain't talking to them. I'm talking to the other folk. I'm talking about the folk that got a dry heave and said, and all of a sudden the prayer get through and say, Lord, please. I don't know who I'm talking to, but when times get rough, I don't care how difficult it gets, boy, you'll find a prayer. I don't care how down you get, you'll find yourself calling, Jesus. And then he'll send a little help. And soon as the help comes, tomorrow you back doing the same thing again, ain't it? We see that God noticed that these people had been afflicted. He saw their sorrow. He saw their affliction. He saw their pain. But I came to tell somebody, if you're going to get loose by prayer, you must go through something. Good God. If I can really kind of point out just a few pieces of this puzzle, it's the fact that Paul and Silas was in a city preaching the gospel. There was a spirit, a woman that had the spirit of divination. And that spirit, it can mean prophecy or soothsayer. And because she was good with prophecy and reading poems and reading people and fortune telling, and she knew how to tell people what they wanted to hear. And the men in the city was getting paid off this soothsayer. But Paul rebuked that spirit, and the woman got saved. The woman got delivered. And the people in the city got upset with Paul and Silas because they felt like, man, they taking away our money. And they pushed Paul and Silas inside of the courts and got them up with the magistrates. They say, these people, these men are stirring up this city. Y'all ready? Ain't this amazing? Soon as you start doing the will of God, somebody want to point the finger at you. As long as you was drinking, stinking, cussing and fussing, nobody talked about you. But soon as Paul rebuked that devil, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. They get in trouble. That's why most of our young people don't want to get saved. They can't handle the persecution. They can't handle the fact when they go to school, they don't know how to tell somebody, oh, I'm saved. Oh, I live for the Lord. They don't know how to deal with that because, see, when you say that, then the devil's going to say, now, see. Everything you do, every time you turn a curve, somebody watching you, somebody trying to blame you and accuse you, but you got to hold your head up and say, for God I live and for God I die. I wish I had some young people that not just sing for the Lord, but live for the Lord. If you're going to be a Christian, you're going to have to suffer. The magistrates ripped their clothes and they told the people to beat them. Now, I just want to help y'all. Why God didn't stop it? Why God, if God was for them, if God be for us, who can be against us? Well, why God didn't stop them from putting them stripes on Paul and Silas' back? They beat them. Not only beat them, they put them in prison. Not only they put them in prison, they put them in isolation. They put them in the inner prison. They put them in a place, solitary confinement, where there's a prison inside of a prison. And then they got locked tight against the wall. But at midnight, I feel like preaching now. I say at midnight. See, midnight represents when everybody is asleep. Another thing about midnight is 60 seconds of no time. Midnight is not today. Midnight is not tomorrow. Midnight is just midnight. Good God, I wish y'all could preach it away. Midnight is in between your blessing and your curse. Midnight is between your yesterday and your today. Midnight is in between your past and your future. I don't know who I'm preaching to, but somebody may be in the middle of, somebody shout midnight. Because it was at midnight when the children of Israel, the Bible said at midnight a cry was made and all the firstborn in Egypt had died and God delivered his people. The Bible said at midnight there was a five wives, but the bridegroom came at midnight. Everybody slumbering and sleep. And here we are with Paul and Silas inside the prison, but at midnight. Tell your neighbor, I'm about to have a midnight experience. I'm about to have a midnight glory. I'm about to have a midnight move. Everybody stand on your feet real quick. Get on your feet and go tell 3 people, I'm about to make a prison break. I'm about to break out of here. I'm about to get out of here. Oh, somebody need to make a prison break. Break out of here. I'm at a midnight experience. I'm about to have a prison break. I'm about to break. I got to get out of here. 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 The Bible says that when Paul and Silas, they went into the inner court, and the inner prison. Now, it's easy after somebody beat you for nothing. They lied on you for nothing. They don't put you in prison for nothing. But how many know it was necessary? How many know the beating was necessary. How many know the fact that they was in that inner prison was necessary? God wasn't concerned about Paul and Silas. They were saved. Y'all ready to shout? I say y'all ready to shout? It wasn't Paul and Silas that God was trying to save. It was somebody in prison. It was somebody in the dungeon. It was somebody in solitary confinement that never heard the word. But when Paul and Silas got to prison, they didn't start talking about, hey man, what you in here for? Hey man, what they did to you? And Paul could have easily started saying, you know what, man, I got to get out of this city. These people ain't right. The magistrates ain't right. The governor ain't right. The police department ain't right. But when Paul got into prison, instead of him complaining, he started a prayer meeting. He started a praise break. Instead of you complaining about your circumstance, why don't you pray on it? Why don't you praise on it? Why don't you give God? They started a prayer meeting in the prison. They started a praise break in the prison. But guess what happened? While they was praising God, the jailer, they all up there sleep, right? Because it's midnight. But when they start singing and praising the God, the inmates that needed to hear a word from the Lord, the Bible says, everybody. The Bible says everybody was loose. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, are you loose? Are you really loose? I'm not talking about tied up. I'm not talking about hanging up. I'm reminded when Jesus told Lazarus to come forth. When he came out the tomb, he still had grave clothes on, and he couldn't move. But Jesus told the same people that put him in there, loose him and let him go. Somebody needs to be loose. Loose from tragedy. Loose from your past. Loose from every bad experience. God said, pride. Stand on your feet all over this room. Go tell somebody, be loose, be loose, be loose, be loose, be loose, be loose. You got to get loose. You got to get free. You got to be, be loose. Be loose, be loose, be loose, be loose. Stand all over this room. Stand up all over this room. Loose, 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 loose. I'm loose. The Bible says it was an earthquake. Now, I don't know about you, but let's imagine you came in with some force that's been really trying to hinder you from the move of God. But I want you to stand. Now listen to what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it in the spirit. The way your earthquake is in your spirit is the way you're being delivered. Okay, let me help you. If you have a A number one earthquake, you may go. A number two may go. But if you want to know folk like me, that I need something to break off some chains in my life. I need a Fred G. Sampson earthquake. I need something. So everybody on the count of three, I want you to imagine that the earthquake is in this house and everything that was on you, I want you to shake it off. 1, 2, 3. Shake yourself. Shake yourself. Ah! Somebody say loose. I see some of y'all like that do. I like that. Some of y'all get loose. Oh, I'm free. I'm free. Now wait a minute. We're going to close on this. The Polk family wasn't the only one got free. The Bible said everybody. Hey! I say everybody. Everybody. Grab your neighbor by the hand, one hand, and shake their hand like you're trying to shake it off. I say everybody was loose. Everybody was loose. Hey! Make some noise. Make some noise. Loose. Everybody. Every chain. I'm declaring it right now. Every chain been broken. Every curse been broken. Every lie been broken. Every stronghold. Ah! Come on, praise him. I want to see, last Tuesday night, this place was full, the whole section. I want to see you Tuesday night in Bible study at 7:30. We want to loose the church. We want to free the church from every stronghold, every demonic force. As I begin to evaluate my life,